Hello everyone, welcome back to Agent Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Agent Sigmar. Now in this video we're going to be looking at the Crypt Ghouls, and this is going to be the first video looking at the units of the Flesh Eater Courts. So now we've looked and dived into a lot of the lore for them, let's go into their individual units. So firstly, this video along with the other unit videos are going to start off with me talking about the lore of that specific unit, and then we're going to go into its rules after that. So with no further ado, we're going to start with the Crypt Ghouls. So firstly, they're Mordants, which are cannibalistic wretches known as Mordants, flock towards the Ghoul Kings and Archregents, drawn by their irresistible magnetism of the abhorrent madness, forming up in ranks to better hunt their prey. They are more savage than a soldier, yet in their mind they march in lockstep to war for the glory and for their noble kingdom. Okay, so basically, Mordants also contain things like Crypt Horrors and Crypt Flares, but going more specifically into the Crypt Ghouls, we've got Crypt Ghouls reeking and drool drips from the mouth, mixing with blood and scraps of flesh that are lodged between rows of rotting fangs. As one, the Crypt Ghouls howl and hiss their devotion for their king, even as they scuttle into battle at his command. Their chipped talons tear at the ground, their maws stretch wider in eager anticipation of the feast to come. Then, with an explosion of insane ferocity, they crash into the enemy lines. Ghoul is a word known in almost every corner of the mortal realms. These are vile creatures who make up the majority of a court's seething armies, and they have the appetite for flesh that is both repulsive and unstable. Once inflicted by the abhorrent curse, the ghouls do not see themselves as monsters, and the longer they serve their monarch, the stronger their madness becomes. They begin to believe that they are a stout foot soldier of the king's court, or a keen-eyed scout ranging ahead of his armies, though in truth they are still cannibal horde of ragged and hungry monsters. Anyone caught in the path of a ghoul pack has but two choices: fight or be devoured. Once the king has set them on an enemy's trail, the flesh-eating creatures will not rest until they have returned to their master, laden with dripping slabs of freshly harvested meat. Crypt Ghouls are especially deadly in large numbers. A single creature will take its time feeding, stripping the flesh from a victim until it has reduced its prey to little more than a bare skeleton. However, as soon as there is competition for its meal, it flies into a frenzy, swiftly ripping hunks of meat from the enemy before moving on, eager to avoid sharing its war spoils with its demented kin. Utterly devoted to their abhorrent master, Crypt Ghouls will brave death without hesitation. Any craven parts of their soul have been extinguished by the madness of their king, and they fight like a rabid beast, often dying to the last rather than displeasing their lord. In those rare instances where a ghoul does turn to flight, their kin swiftly drag them down. Such is the fate for cowards in the Flesh Eater Courts, where the contagious fight on in their king's favour, their bellies filled with the flesh of the weak. Okay, so that's the lore for the Crypt Ghouls. So it's basically saying they are, they are the ground troops, they are the foot soldiers for the Flesh Eater Courts themselves, and for their, either they serve an archregent or their king. They do basically, like I say, they are the foundation arm. They are the backbone that keeps it going. Of course, you've got the Knights of the Crypt Horrors, and the Pegasus Knights, like the Crypt Flares and stuff like that, and like the the Royal Knights and stuff being the courtiers and so on. But at heart, in a like traditional lore Flesh Eater Court army, you have the Crypt Ghouls that really do all of the basic work and really keep the army going. They are essentially the front line. So yeah, that's quite cool. And like how the madness inflicts them, as in they do honestly believe that they are humble soldiers in their king's army, and also that this is have extinguished their fear. The madness, that's what's caused them no longer to fear their own death. And that's something that's also quite important, because yes, like traditionally death armies are like, well, they got bravery 10, well, what do you expect, they're already dead, they can't be scared of that. The Flesh Eater Court, apart from obviously zombie dragons and terrorgeists and the abhorrence, they're not actually dead. They are actually living creatures. You know, they're cannibals and all that. And yes, they've given themselves over to madness essentially, and delusional, but they're not dead. So there's still justification there to maybe, you know, they shouldn't have bravery 10. However, it shows in their madness they have, you know, everything that a part of them was cowardly has been taken out of them. They know no fear. Basically, that's how it works now. Okay, so now that we've looked to see what it was like in its rules, let's now look to see what the Crypt Ghouls are going to be like in the game. So firstly, we're going to start to see how many points they cost. So basically, you're taking minimum size units of 10, maximum size units of 40. 10 of them is going to cost you 100 points, and 40 of them is going to cost you 360. So you're going to save yourself 40 points there if you go for the maxed out unit of a unit of 40 because of the mass legion discount. And they are, of course, a battle line option. They are the only generic battle line you have for the army. Of course, there's ways, easy ways now, especially in the new battle tone, for you to take other things as battle line. But, you know, when I say other things battle line, basically anything that's not a hero can be battle line out of the army, pretty much. So, but just bear in mind, the Crypt Ghouls, if you're just taking very generic flesh-shitted core army, the Crypt Ghouls are going to be your battle line. Okay, and then looking to see what they are going to be like in the game with their war scroll, we are going to have a look. So firstly, looking at the wheel stat, they've got a movement of 6 inches, they've got a 6+ save, bravery 10, 1 wound, 6-inch movement, very nice. Save of a 6+, not, you know, obviously not good. However, they've got like absolutely no armor on them. It's not like, oh, they've got like bikini armor or something. No, the only sort of armory thing they got on them is like bones sticking out their arms and stuff. You know, like they've been pierced through their muscles and stuff, and like could maybe deflect shots, but not really. They've got no armor essentially, so at least they've got a save. Bravery 10, yep, fantastic. That's something we're going to see across the whole army, but it's still good to know that it's here. And then a 1 wound. So going into their melee weapons, they have only got 1. And it is the Sharpened Teeth and Filthy Claws. So it's got a 1-inch range, 2 attacks, force hit, force wound, no render, 1 damage. Very nice because this is just a, you know, a standard battle line unit. Yes, it's 100 points for 10, but you know, you're bringing them back, aren't you, throughout the game? So yeah, good standard attack characteristics. I like it. 2 attacks is nice. And then going into the abilities. So we've got the Crypt Ghast. So the leader of this unit is a Crypt Ghast. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of a Crypt Ghast, Sharpened Teeth and Filthy Claws. Really nice this, and I know usually I just gloss over this. Yeah, it's, you know, standard. However, this is really nice because it used to be the Crypt Ghast gets +1 to its wound roll, which is an absolute pain in the arse because it was, well, you know, it's not an absolute pain in the arse. It's a little bit of an exaggeration. However, you just had to roll its dice separately, and it's a very lazy thing for me to say that's a pain in the arse to do. But it's a lot nicer to have an extra attack. An extra attack, I would think, works out that it's better, you know, on the average, you know, generally, but it's just nice and easy for when you roll your dice. Okay, and then going into the main ability, so we've got Boundless Ferocity. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of this unit's Sharpened Teeth and Filthy Claws while this unit has 20 or more models. Okay, so now it's pretty easy for you guys to get 3 attacks for each of these, like standard if you've got like a unit of 30 or more, or even 20 or more models. Really nice there. And then we've got the Royal Approval, so you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by this unit while they are wholly within 18 inches of any friendly abhorrence. So just to make it clear, abhorrence, of course, they are, you know, your Ghoul Kings and your Archregents. Just to make that clear. Yeah, this is good ability. However, for me, I'm not too excited about this just because it used to be better. It used to just be within 15 inches of them, not wholly, just within. So although this makes it sound like the range has increased, you have to be wholly within now, so it's harder for you to do. It's not impossible, it's not really hard. It's not like you have to be wholly within 12, it just makes things really hard to try and micromanage that. Wholly within 18 inches is pretty easy to do. Easy enough, in fact, that you'll be able to make, you know, this ability go for your, you know, more than 1 unit of Crypt Ghouls, basically, without putting in too much effort. So, and yeah, reroll and hit rolls are 1. You know, it's not all failed hit rolls. However, that makes a big difference because considering that if you've got a big unit of these guys, you're making 3 attacks each. You know, that's before you put on all these extra spells. Right, and then looking at their keywords, they've got Death, Mordant, Flesh Eater Courts, Serfs, and Crypt Ghouls. So, same as they were before, but now they've got the Serfs keyword, as, you know, like Cryptors and stuff, got the Knights. You know, Serfs, you know, just like the foot soldiers. So, looking at this War Scroll, it's a good War Scroll. Crypt Ghouls are good. Loads of people use them all the time. I have used them quite a bit, but I haven't used them all the time. I'm not really focused in Crypt Ghouls. I'm more sort of focused in Crypt Flares and Crypt Horrors as well, to a certain extent. And I did all this before the bloody new battle tome coming out, and now everyone's doing Crypt Flares and stuff. I've been running them for like the last 3 years, or basically however long the Flesh Eater Court book's been out. I've taken them to many tournaments and been very happy with them. So because of that, haven't really fielded too many Crypt Ghouls, and personally because I don't enjoy moving thousands of, well, bit of an exaggeration, but I don't enjoy moving, you know, tens upon tens upon tens of models across the board, which some people have been taking big units of Crypt Ghouls to the point where I think like 120 or something, which is just, it's not fun for me to move those sorts of models across the board, in all honesty. However, a unit of 40 or a unit of 30 or something along those lines, even a unit of 10 is quite competent fighters, especially even on a back objective and the enemy tries to, you know, a skirmish unit flanks you and gets there, and it's like, well, they think they can take on these Crypt Ghouls, however, they're like really light cavalry or something, might be in trouble. So yes, I do like them a lot. Of course, there's things that play into it. You know, like we're going to cover all this in more detail when we go on to their war scrolls. But if I was to look at the Archregent, for example, his spell, Furious Hunger, has the potential to give the Crypt Ghouls anywhere up to 3 attacks. So if you look at the best case scenario, let's say it gives them 3 extra attacks. You've got a big unit here, so they're making 3 attacks ready. He gives them an extra, you know, 3 attacks. So now they're making 6 attacks. And then your spell from your Abhorrent Ghoul King, of course, your Black Hunger, is going to give them an extra attack. So then this Crypt Ghoul unit of, you know, 40 models can be making 7 attacks each. And of course this is best case scenario, but nonetheless could be making 7 attacks each and re-roll failed hit rolls of 1. Which is very, very big indeed, especially how we've got things like the Crypt Ghouls Courtier that's going to be bringing back these models. And of course we're going to go into more sort of details and then in there, as this video is mainly just, you know, covering the Crypt Ghouls themselves. So yeah, looking at the war scroll, good will, good melee weapons, only 1, but it's a good one, especially how it combines so it can get 3 attacks standard, is good. An easy way for you to reroll hit rolls of 1, not much required, just, you know, be careful your measurements and stuff basically, and keyword standard. And there's lots you can do with these guys, like I've already mentioned a couple of spells that make them good. The Crypt Ghouls Courtier is just a really cheap hero to make sure these guys come back. And if you ever, you know, read some of these, you know, Flesh Eater Court units and you think maybe they're quite expensive point wise, you know, for what you get on their war scroll, just bear in mind that, you know, if you're talking about the Crypt Ghouls and the Crypt Horrors or Crypt Flares, let's take the Crypt Ghouls as our example here. You might look at them and you think, 100 points for 10 of them, a 6+ save. I don't really see what you're getting, you know, for, you know, their war scroll's not bad, but it's not really as good as how they are value for points. Just bear in mind that you might be paying for 10, but if you get your regenerations right, you're not, you know, that unit is going to have, let's say, increased in numbers. And of course I don't mean the unit size is going to get bigger, because you can't do that than it was when it deployed, but you're replacing so many to that unit. It's like you started off with a unit of 40 and by the end of the game it might have, you know, you might have, through regenerating them, it might have ended up being, you know, like a unit of 60. And that's not saying like you would have 60 models on the board, of course, because make sure that's not confusion there, but by the amount you're replacing them with, it just shows you really are getting that value here. And the Crypt Ghouls, yes, there is also a battalion for the Crypt Ghouls, which we'll go to in the battalion video. However, I know that's been nerfed a bit and people aren't really too happy about it. I'll be honest, that's the it's the Ghoul Patrol battalion, and I've never really I've taken it once, but it was in a wasn't in a really competitive game, so it's not the best example. However, like I say, I'm more a fan of the bigger models, the elite models, you know, your Crypt Flares, Crypt Horrors, so I can't give you loads and loads and loads of really in-depth advice about the Crypt Ghouls, purely just because I don't want to lie to you guys. I can give you loads of that advice when it comes to the Crypt Horrors and in particular the Crypt Flares. But the Crypt Ghouls, I think that's pretty much it. What we talked about them in the video. We're going to talk about more synergies, you know, about bringing them back and stuff. Obviously, when we look at their Courtier and the Varghulf Courtier, obviously that does play in a part. And we've already talked about what spells can help towards them, and this, that, and the other. So that's where I'm going to leave the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment down below, as that is all free and great. If you want to support me further, I have now started a Patreon account, which is absolutely amazing way for you guys to help support the channel and get in battle tomes, help me afford to get equipment and stuff for the channel. You know, I'm trying to save up money to get a better mic at the moment, or just cameras or something like that, or, you know, software I can use for the computer that I do all the recording on. and so on. It all massively does help, and really does help me be able to put the time into doing these videos. So if you could go have a look for that, that'd be great. There's actually a link to it in the description of this video I'll be putting in, so that'd be fantastic. And on that note of Patreon, I would like to thank my patrons who are at the Vampire tier. So that means that they get a mention, a shout out basically at the end of every video, just to basically thank them for all the amazing support they give me, and how their continued support is basically helping fund towards things for the channel. And basically, like, sure, I'm creating the content for you guys, but my patrons are really supporting me financially to be able to do so. So we have got a MYR, who I believe his name is Max. I'm sure he's going to get back to me on that to make sure. Absolutely fantastic support. Thank you very much for all the help you've been giving me. And we have got Kyle, who again, really thank you guys for your support. It really allows me to be able to justify the time spending doing these videos, and I hope very much that you enjoy it. So if you guys very much could just appreciate how they are helping support the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Right, so that's the end of this video. If you guys have got any thoughts of your own about the Crypt Ghouls, please let me know down in the comments. I know this video has been a bit shorter compared to my usual videos, however, it is just been about one single unit. So a single unit video that's gone on for what, about 16 minutes now, something like that, I think isn't too bad. And because I'll be doing this for every single unit, it's going to be the longest army I've reviewed for the Age of Sigmar Army Archive so far, apart from maybe Legions of Nagash, just because that was a while ago though. I did spend quite a bit of time talking about that, but no, Fleshy Courts are definitely having a lot of time spent on them so far, and they will continue to, don't you worry. Right guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if so, if you could please subscribe, like and comment down below, because if you can't afford to support me on Patreon, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand, not a worry at all, but if you could please just, if you're already a subscriber, like the video and leave a comment. That does massively help me support the channel, and it's completely free. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe if you enjoy the content. Alright guys, so I thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, until next time, Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash.